Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a rectangle to rectangle transition. So like these. We'll be working with a 3 by 7 and we're going to give it a 4-inch height like so. And then we're going to do another one also at 3 by 7, but we're going to give it a 7-inch height. So by the time we get done, we'll be doing these to make the rectangle to rectangle transitions. Alright, let's get to it. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be making the rectangle to rectangle transition drawing at an X. So we're going to be doing like this and like this, nice and even and nice and centered. So it's not going to have an offset to either one side, but rather right down the center. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw that right here. Okay, on the horizontal side, let's go and count 3 inches. So 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do the other side, the vertical side, 7 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, let's go ahead and transfer that over to the other side of our rectangles. Open it up to the 3-inch. And lock it in place. Put our sharp point here now. Strike a random mark, like so. We're going to do the same thing again. And then open it up to the 7-inch length. We're going to lock it in place like so. Put sharp point right here. Strike a crisscross arc on the other one, and there's the other side of your 3 by 7 rectangle. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the cross section of your rectangle. So I'm going to take our ruler here, 1, 2, and then we're going to mark right here, and we know it's 3 inches wide, so 1, 2, 3. Do the same thing on this side, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, because it's 3 inches in width. Okay, now let's go ahead and take our square. We're going to put it on the 2-inch and just do the best you can. So right around there, looks pretty close, right? Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and confirm those numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's go ahead and do some transferring. Start right here. Gonna open up to the 3-inch, like so. Put your sharp point right here now. Strike an arc, random mark right there at the bottom. Gonna swing it over, and we're gonna open it up to the 7-inch. Gonna lock it in place like so. See that? put a sharp point right here and crisscross that previous arc. There you go. Okay, so what we have here is our 3 by 7, 3 by 7. All right, let's go ahead and label this. So you can start from here. So this will be A, B, C, and D. You can do the same thing on this side. A, B, C, and D. Now this is really not necessary because since everything's nice and even, you really just need to concentrate on just these 2 points here. But just for simplicity and just for the new beginners learning how to do this, this is just good practice just to label this so you guys understand where you're at. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and make our true length triangle. Okay, so the first one that we're going to be doing is our 4-inch. So we're going to make it at 4 inches right there. So on the vertical line, we're going to count 4 inches on your true length triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be your 4-inch. Okay? Alright, next. So let me just quickly explain. What we have here is this. See that? Fits right there. So, since everything's in the center, you only need to concentrate on one corner to the other, meaning that from this corner to this corner of the 3 by 7 is the same from this corner to this corner. So it's exactly the same. The same thing be said from D to D to C is exactly the same. Or from C to C to B is exactly the same. So you're going to be doing only one deviation arc on your true length triangle. So you're going to get the distance from A right here to this A, which is right here. You're going to lock it in place. See that? And if everything was done correctly, they should match up pretty close. See that? The same distance. See that? So it's only one deviation arc. So you're going to put your sharp point right here where your vertical and horizontal lines meet on your true length triangle. And you're going to strike an arc. And that's it. That's all you really need. Just one arc. And if you want, just so that it makes it easy to understand, you can mark this as A to A, or you can mark it as D to D. It's the same thing as C to C, and it's the same thing as B to B. So just so that it makes sense, I'm just going to go ahead and write it like so. Alright, so now that we have this information, now we can go and have some fun and get these layouts done. So, if you guys remember on some of the videos on making transitions from square to square, I said that I would just make a grid type of version and just actually make the layout on top of the work. So this is what I mean. So what we're going to be doing is start from the 3-inch starting points, which is from here to here. So since I already have 3 inches here, I'm going to go ahead and start my starting points here. So I'm going to take my compass and put it on that arc, open it up to the 4-inch height mark, like so. lock it in place. See that? I want to put my sharp point here, and I know, so here's D, here's my starting point. I'm going to go ahead and reach and throw an arc here because I'm going to try to find this D right there. So I'm going to strike an arc like so, put my sharp point here, now on A, and here's A. I'm going to strike an arc here because I know this is the 7-inch length. So I'm going to go 2 inches to the left. Boom. And that's it. I'm done. So if everything was done correctly, this should match. So here's my starting points, and here are the ending points. See that? Pretty easy. So just to quickly demonstrate, this goes like so. Actually, let me do it on this one so you guys can see. So see that? So pretty simple. Okay, now say for instance you didn't want to start on the 3-inch. You can also go in reverse and start on the 7-inch. You can go from the wide in 2 inches on each side and then finish off on the 3-inch. So here's what I mean. So we're going to go again, put my sharp point right here, open up my pencil point to the 4-inch height mark. I'm going to lock it in place. And instead of starting here, I'm now going to go ahead and start here instead, right there. So these 2 points. So here's D, right? And I want to go ahead and reach down to say D, which is on the 3-inch. So I'm going to strike an arc there. Do the same thing here. Go to A. And now I'm going to go in 2 inches and use this line because I know that this is 3 inches. Strike an arc there. And that's it. I'm done. If everything was done correctly, these 2 points will line up with the top on the 3-inch. See that? So there you go. It's the same thing. So I showed you that you can do either from the 3 to the 7-inch, or you can go from the 7-inch to the 3-inch. So just so that you guys can take this as tips. You can start either or. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do a 7-inch scenario. And I'll explain why we're going to do a 7-inch. Say in case you wanted to go and just keep doing your layout on top of your work. So let's go ahead and do a 7-inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is our 7-inch height. So we're going to go ahead and make this one right here at 7 inches. Seven-inch. Okay, so in this scenario, say you want to do the same thing on this, but you want to go 7 inches. So here's a problem. You put your sharp point here, and you're going to open up to your 7-inch. Going to lock it in place. And I'm going to go ahead and start from the 3-inch. So I start from the 3-inch, but as you can see, there's no line here. So what I do is you can just simply use this existing line and draw a line to or parallel lines to represent the 7-inch width. So I'm just going to draw a line like so. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my ruler and then count 7 inches to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then what I do is I can take now, line this up to this mark right here. So like so, and then draw a line up like so. So that should be 7 inches, as you can see, 7 inches. And now what you can do is you take your compass, Since we already know that that's the length that we want. And now what you can do is make your starting point right here back at the 3" and then strike an arc there, go on this side, and then strike an arc here. And now you've made this right here. So that's our starting point at 3, and it ends at the 7". So see that? So you can do that. Or say you want to go in reverse. So instead of from the 3 to 7, let's go from 7 to 3. So you do the same thing. You're going to go through 2 lines. So I'll just do that really quick so you guys can see. So all I'm doing is just showing you guys tips on ways that you can do the layout. You can go either or. So now we're going to go ahead and count 3 inches just to make sure. 1, 2, 3. Make a mark right there. Remember, all we're doing is throwing random lines up because you don't know how far that arc is going to extend to. And then we're just going to throw a line like so. Pretty easy, right? Okay, so we're going to go back, and I'm going to put my sharp point back at our arc, and then open it up to our 7" height mark. I'm going to lock it in place so you guys can see. Okay, so instead of starting from the 3, I'm now going to go ahead and start on the 7". So I'm going to start right here, and I want to go 2 inches in, so I'm going to strike an arc on this side. Do the same thing here. You can start your starting point there, and then strike an arc there, and that should now be this. See that? Pretty close, right? So yeah, these are just tips that I just wanted to kind of go over so you guys can see that you guys can also utilize your work once you draw it out and then use that to make your layouts. So this is pretty interesting, and this is basically what I do at work if I get a chance, just because I can just go ahead and take this piece of paper and then transfer it over to the sheet and then punch out the arcs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So pretty simple, right? Okay, and then one other thing. Say for instance you didn't want to do this. You wanted to say just draw this out, but you want to put it on a blank sheet of sheet metal because you want to just go ahead and cut that up instead of as opposing cutting this up because well, all your work's here. So let me go ahead and show you that. So that's where the cross triangulation comes into play. So here's what I mean. So say we're going to transfer all this information and put it here instead. So what you're going to do is get your sharp point and put it right here. We're going to do some cross triangulation. You're going to extend your pencil point to the opposite end of the other rectangle, like so. So if everything was done correctly, these should be pretty close as far as matching on distance goes. See that? So pretty close, right? So from here to there, and then from here to here. Okay, so what you're going to do is put your sharp point where your true length triangle's at, and you're going to strike an arc right here. So on this, you can call it, I don't know, I guess you can call it A to D, or D to A, it's the same thing. You can also call it B to C, or you can call it C to B. So it's the same thing. So there's really no need to mark them as such, but in a ways it is, just in case you guys don't confuse this to that. Okay, so here's how you start. So say for instance we want to go ahead and start our layout right here. This is what you do. So you first choose the size or your starting point size to initiate the layout. So in this case I'm gonna go ahead and start it with a 3". So let me see where I'm gonna put it at. So I'm going to put it right around here. Okay, so we're going to go 3 inches. So here is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here's our 3-inch. Okay, here's how you do it. Now what you're going to do is get your compass, put your sharp point right here on that triangulation arc, and then we're going to do the 4-inch first. I'm going to open it up to the 4-inch height mark. I'm going to lock it in place. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my sharp point here, which is on D, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing over to this side to try to find A right here. So I'm going to strike an arc like so. See that? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing, put my sharp point here now. So now it's on this side of A, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot over to this side across and try to find D right here. See that? Okay, now what you can do, put your sharp point back at your arc where D to D or A to A is at, and then open it up to the desired height. So in this case it's the 4-inch height mark. And I'll lock it in place like so. Put your sharp point now here. See, here's where you're at. And now what you're going to do is you're going to reach out this way to try to find A. Boom, like that. Now you're going to do the same thing on D. Now you're here, and you're going to reach out to the opposite end to try to find this D. And if everything was done correctly, this should match pretty close. So see that? So that's one way to do it. Now I want to go ahead and show you that you can also do it in reverse. So instead of from 3 to 7, you can go now from 7 to 3. So let me show you really quick. So since we already know that this is 7, right here, 7 inches, 7 inches, we're going to go ahead and now go inward. So we're going to do the same thing. Go to your triangulation arc and then open it up to your 4-inch height mark. We're going to lock it in place. See that? Okay, we're going to put our sharp point right here. So we're going to pretend that this from here to here is the 7-inch starting point. So now you're here, right? Now what you're going to do is strike an arc somewhere around here to try to find this line. So you're going to go across like so. Okay, now you're going to do the same thing and go back here. I guess you can go here, it doesn't really matter. So say for instance you wanted to go here, that's where we're at, and now we're going to shoot across this way to try to find this line to try to complete the 3-inch arc, or the 3-inch vertical line. So you're going to do this. Okay, now what you're going to do, get your compass, go back to this arc, open it up to your 4-inch height mark. We're going to lock it in place. Okay, you're going to put your sharp point right here now. And now you're going to say you're here. You can go reach in 2 inches and crisscross this previous arc. Boom, like that. Do the same thing on this side. Now you're here. You're going to reach in 2 inches. So you're going to crisscross this previous arc. Boom, like that. And if everything was done correctly, this should match. See that? Pretty easy, right? So yeah, just another tip so you guys see that you guys can go either or. If you didn't want to do it this version, you can definitely do it on a blank canvas, but in my experience, you would need a triangulation arc, which is this right here, to do this in here. As you can see, in my case, I prefer doing it here because everything's all right here on the work area. I don't have to make this to try to find these arcs. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one last one. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the 7-inch. So I'll just quickly demonstrate. So again, same thing. we're going to start from the 3-inch right here, and we're going to go 7 inches. So we're going to go cross triangulation like so, and we're going to go up to the 7-inch. Okay, like so. Oops, let me do that again because it moved. Okay. Okay, now we're at the 7-inch, or the 3-inch rather, sorry. So we're here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to strike an arc to try to find this side of A. So I'm going to strike an arc like so. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to go here to A. Now I'm going to try to reach over here to try to find this arc here, this line of the 7-inch. So I'm going to strike an arc like so. Okay, now I'm going to go back, put my compass right here, then open it up to the 7-inch height mark. I'm going to lock it in place. Okay, now what I'm going to do is put my sharp point back at the 3-inch starting point, and I'm going to crisscross this arc to try to start and find the 7-inch width of the rectangle. So one there, so now we found C or B or D, and then, or actually in this case it'd be D, and then go back here. Here's A, and now we're going to try to find this side of A. So we're going to crisscross the previous arcs like so. So pay attention to this and pay attention to that. So if everything was done correctly, hopefully these will match. And there it is. See that? So that's how you do that. And the same thing applies in reverse if we go from 7-inch to the 3-inch. So let me quickly demonstrate, and that'll finish off this video. So again, these are just tips so you guys can see that there's different ways of doing it. So we already know that from here to here is 7 inches, right? So from there to there is 7 inches. So we're going to start making these our starting points. So again, we're going to go and make our cross triangulation arc right here. Open it up to our 7-inch height mark. We're going to lock it in place like so. Put your sharp point now on your starting point on your 7-inch, and we're going to reach across like so from here. That's where that's at. And then we're going to reach across to try to find this side. So I'm going to go and strike an arc like that. We're going to do the same thing, and now go to A, I guess, like so. And I'm going to go shoot across to try to find this side of the 7-inch, or the 3-inch. So we're going to strike a random mark like that. Okay, now what you can do is take your compass, put it back here, and that's the distance from these two rectangles. I'm going to open it up to the 7-inch mark. I'm going to lock it in place. Okay, I'm going to go back to our starting points on the 7-inch. So I'm here. Now I'm going to reach in 2 inches and crisscross this arc. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing, go to A. And now I want to go ahead and try to reach in 2 inches. So I'm going to crisscross this arc. And now just pay attention to these 2 points. And I'm going to get my pattern here. So here and there. So you see, it matches. So pretty close. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys like this video, and if you find value in it and you know of a friend or especially a coworker that can use this and benefit them at work, definitely go ahead and share it with them. Let's get more people start learning how to do these layouts. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.